A few weeks ago, a patient walked into our clinic who looked like the absolute picture of health. He was fit, he wasn't overweight, he didn't have diabetes, and there wasn't a single person in his family with a history of kidney issues. But when his blood work came back, the room went silent. His kidney function was sitting at 40%. That is stage 3 chronic kidney disease. And the most terrifying part? He had absolutely no idea. The reason I am sharing this is because your kidneys are the most silent organ in your body. They don't ache when they're struggling. They don't send out warning signals like a racing heart or a sharp pain. In fact, most people with stage 3 disease feel completely normal. But by the time you actually feel a symptom, you've often lost function that is gone forever. When we sat down to look at this patient's life, it wasn't a story of extreme choices or a terrible diet. It was a story of everyday foods, things sitting in your kitchen and mine right now. Today, I'm breaking down the 9 foods that are quietly destroying the filtering units of your body. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to address one specific diet drink that everyone asks about. The answer might actually change how you look at your fridge forever. Let's start with the one that has the most overwhelming clinical evidence: sugary fizzy drinks. I'm talking about the full sugar versions of your favorite sodas. Now, you might think, I only have 1 or 2 a day. Surely that's fine? Large-scale meta-analyses show that even moderate consumption, just 1 or 2 a day, significantly spikes your risk of chronic kidney disease over time. Here is the biological reality of what is happening. These drinks are loaded with high fructose corn syrup. When your liver processes that massive hit of fructose, it creates a byproduct called uric acid. Elevated uric acid is essentially toxic to the tiny microscopic blood vessels inside your kidneys. Think of it like pouring sand into the gears of a delicate watch. At the same time, that sugar drives insulin resistance and raises your blood pressure. You are hitting your kidneys with a triple threat: high blood sugar, high blood pressure, and direct vascular toxicity. Every time you drink one of these, you aren't just getting a sugar hit. You're creating a slow, internal chemical environment that your kidneys have to fight against day after day. Next on the list is a staple in many households: processed meats. This includes bacon, sausages, deli hams, salami, and hot dogs. The research here is unambiguous. Long-term studies tracking thousands of people show a direct correlation between processed meat intake and declining kidney function. There are 3 reasons why these are particularly problematic. First, the sodium load. 1 serving of bacon can hit nearly 50% of your daily recommended salt intake. This forces your body to retain fluid, which increases the physical pressure inside your kidneys' filters. Second, these meats contain nitrates and processing compounds that cause oxidative stress in the renal system. But the third reason is the one no one talks about: inorganic phosphate additives. Unlike the natural phosphate found in beans, which your body only absorbs about 50% of, the inorganic phosphate in processed meat is absorbed at nearly 100%. This floods your blood, strains your mineral balance, and can actually lead to the calcification, essentially the hardening, of your blood vessels. Number 3 is a food that many people turn to when they are busy: instant noodles or packet ramen. They are cheap, fast, and convenient, but biologically, they are a disaster for your nephrons. Your kidneys contain about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons. Think of them like incredibly intricate coffee filters. A single packet of instant noodles can contain up to 2,000 milligrams of sodium. That is roughly 85% of your entire daily limit in one 5-minute snack. When you dump that much sodium into your system, your blood volume expands rapidly to dilute it. This creates a state of hyperfiltration. You are essentially running high-pressure fluid through those paper-thin filters. Over time, those filters get scarred. And here is the scary part: nephrons do not regenerate. They don't regrow like skin cells. Once they are scarred, they are gone for good. Moving to number 4, we have the classic fast food meal deal: a double cheeseburger, large fries, and a sugary drink. I call this a stacked risk food because it combines 4 kidney-destroying factors in one sitting: processed meat sodium, refined carbs that spike blood sugar, inflammatory saturated fats, and a massive calorie load that drives obesity. Obesity is a primary cause of kidney disease because a larger body requires the kidneys to filter more blood than they were designed to handle. It's like asking a small car engine to pull a massive trailer. Eventually, the engine is going to burn out. If this is your diet 2 or 3 times a week, you aren't just eating lunch. You are methodically building the physiological conditions that make kidney disease almost inevitable. Number 5 on our list is energy drinks. These are becoming one of the most concerning categories in clinical research. These drinks combine high sugar with massive doses of caffeine and other stimulants. Caffeine has an acute effect on blood pressure, causing it to spike significantly in the short term. When you combine that pressure spike with the metabolic damage of high sugar, you're creating a pressure cooker environment for your kidney tissue. For young people drinking these daily, the cumulative damage over a decade can be catastrophic before they even hit their 30s. The cardiovascular stress compounded by the sugar load makes these far more dangerous for the kidneys than a standard cup of coffee. Number 6 might surprise a few people: cheap microwavable or frozen ready meals. Now, I want to be very precise here. Not all frozen food is bad, but the danger lies in the ultra-processed category, the meals that cost almost nothing and have a shelf life of years. Meta-analyses on ultra-processed food intake consistently show around a 25% higher risk of chronic kidney disease in people who eat these types of food regularly. The risk comes from a combination of the sodium load, the additive burden, and the total lack of fiber. If the ingredient list reads like a chemistry experiment with things you can't pronounce or wouldn't have in your own kitchen, then that is a signal your kidneys are going to have to work overtime to filter those synthetic compounds. This next one, number 7, is very high red meat consumption. I have to be careful here because I know how much people love their steaks and roast dinners. I eat red meat occasionally myself, and I'm not telling you to go vegetarian. However, we cannot ignore the research. Large dietary analyses show that diets very high in animal protein, especially when eaten multiple times per day, are associated with a faster decline in kidney function. The mechanism centers on something called acid load. When you digest animal protein, your body produces metabolic acids as a byproduct. Your kidneys are responsible for excreting that acid. When the load is high and constant, the kidneys stay in a state of hyperfiltration where the pressure in the nephrons is chronically elevated. Think of it like a machine that is constantly being run at its maximum RPM. Eventually, parts will start to fail. The goal isn't to quit meat. It's to find balance and not assume that high-protein diets come without a renal cost. Number 8 is processed cheese. This isn't the aged cheddar or the block of brie. I'm talking about the plastic-wrapped slices, burger cheese, and processed spreads. These products contain added phosphates as part of the processing to help them melt. As I mentioned before, this inorganic phosphate is absorbed by your gut with 90% efficiency. Chronically elevated phosphate in the blood is a genuine problem for your vascular health. It promotes the calcification of your blood vessels and disrupts the hormonal systems that regulate calcium. This puts a progressive strain on the kidney's ability to maintain mineral balance. This is especially relevant for anyone who already has early signs of kidney dysfunction, as it creates a vicious cycle where phosphate accumulates and causes even further damage. Finally, at number 9, we have the one that comes up in the comments every single time: diet fizzy drinks and diet sodas. The logic seems so sound: no sugar and no calories, so they must be a safe swap, right? Unfortunately, the evidence is not as reassuring as the marketing. Large observational studies like the Nurses' Health Study have shown an association between high intake of artificially sweetened beverages and an increased risk of chronic kidney disease. While we are still studying the exact cause, artificial sweeteners appear to affect insulin sensitivity and alter the gut microbiome in ways that have downstream metabolic effects. The bottom line is that the idea that diet soda is a neutral or free pass is likely incorrect. If you are drinking several of these a day because you believe they are as harmless as water, that is an assumption worth revisiting. The thing I really want you to take away from this is that none of these foods damage your kidneys overnight. That is not how chronic kidney disease works. It's not one meal or even 1 year. It is a sustained pattern over time, slowly raising your blood pressure, slowly dysregulating your blood sugar, and slowly building inflammation. Just remember that your kidneys are worth protecting. They are doing an extraordinary job inside your body every single minute. The good news is that everything we've talked about today is modifiable. Knowing what to look out for is where the healing starts. If you want to take the next step in protecting your health, check out my next video on the top 5 foods that actually support and repair kidney function. I'll see you there.